Welcome back, gang. It's Deltia from Deltiasgaming.com. The Elder Scrolls Online has just released their new chapter, Gold Road, on PC and Mac, and it's coming to Xbox and PlayStation on June 18th. I've been playing on the public test server for the past few weeks, and in this video guide, I'll walk you through the top 10 things to do in the new chapter, why you should, and how you can get started. This video is sponsored by Bethesda, and if you wish to purchase the Gold Road chapter and support my channel and my work, please use the bit.ly link in the description below. Thank you, Bethesda, for sponsoring this video. Now the top 10 things to do in Weald, the newest zone in the Elder Scrolls Online. Weald is a new zone, and to enter Weald, open your map, and just west of Citadel you will find a new area. You will need to purchase the chapter, hopefully using my code below, and a way shrine for Skingrad will be automatically unlocked. The zone is filled with different biomes, so as you explore, the environment will change around you, and don't expect just one setting that looks like Citadel. The main thing I want you to understand about the chapter is you get a mount by completing the Savior of Weald, along with other various collectibles and unlocks. You'll need to complete a variety of sub-activities in the area like sky shards, antiquities, quests, and so on. The easiest way to break this up is the zone guide, which most players don't use or know about. When you open up the guide, it will give you a list of important activities and map completion, which mostly relate back to your primary goal, getting a sick new mount. Therefore, use this as a frame of reference and a checklist on things to complete and do while roaming Weald, because it's easy to get overwhelmed and what your priority should be when the new chapter launches. Let's transition and talk about something you need to do specifically, and that's Mirrormoor Incursions, which are the new world events. World events are dynamic events throughout Elder Scrolls Online and have progressed from Dolmen's to the Gold Road chapter, Mirrormoor Incursions. These incursions are a bit more complex and challenging compared to previous world events. There are 4 specific world event locations throughout the zone, and you will need to find one active at a time. Your map will have a wider circle around the active incursions, and you will need to travel there until it's complete and repeat the cycle. The easiest way I found to do these was by riding around the map and unlocking the way shrines. Then I would walk up to the incursion so it was on my map, and then I would bounce around various locations, completing the 4 incursions required for the achievement. Another reason you're going to want to do incursion is for new overland gear sets and possibility of mythic leagues. When traveling to an active incursion, look for a shooting glowing white beam that leads to the ground far away from the center. There will be a mini boss you will need to kill at 3 different locations to unlock the middle portion of the fight. Once you complete that, a boss will appear in the center and the fight will be reminiscent of the Dreadcell Reef Trial final fight, including 3 previous mini bosses. Expect a lot of damage in these encounters and a fun, unique design worth completing for the achievement and gear, and just for fun. Next up, we have number 8, a fancy cosmetic edition, and that's skill styles. Skill styles are a purely cosmetic flair to your current skills in the Elder Scrolls Online. These modifications don't change the functionality of your current skills like Elemental Blockade, but gives it a unique appearance. Currently, all skill styles in ESO you can get through scribing quests, daily activities, sky shard hunting, and they're earnable. I have a full list of skill styles on my website, including screenshots if you wish to see them all. My 2 favorite are Wall of Elements to get a violet-purple look, as well as Vigor that gives a nice blue look. With over 20 to collect, there is a lot of flair to add your favorite abilities. Once you unlock the skill style by completing the achievement, simply click the box on the left-hand side and pick the style and ability you will change. Sauce will add more of these in the future, but for someone who casts Wall of Elements 100+ times in a trial, it will be nice to have some new customization option. Also, if you don't know what the achievement is, you can look in the box and search in the achievement box for it for what the requirements are. Moving along, and that's what a lot of folks want to know about, and that's scribing. The scribing system is a new feature to modify and alter 11 new spells. Therefore, it's not technically spellcrafting because you need a base spell, which is new and named Grimoires. While scribing isn't technically inside of Weald, many Weald achievements will relate to scribing, and you should understand the basics. Here's a too long didn't read on scribing. To get started, travel to the Mages Guild within Skingrad. Talk with NPC there, advance to the Scrollarium beneath Ivea. This will feature one of 11 customizable spells called Grimoires, which which are the base spell that can be customized with scripts. Scripts are the component of customizing and changing your spell and skill effect. Both of these can be earned through a variety of activities, and grimoires can be purchased at a vendor. Luminous ink is the currency used to scribe, and this will require the purchase of the Gold Road chapter, which hopefully you're going to use my link in the description below. My two favorite grimoires are Soul Burst and Traveling Knife. The Soul Burst spell gives you an option to have a buff, pull, crowd control, and so on. Traveling Knife acts as a ranged spamble that gives you a dot, buff, debuff, and or a stun. Think of the scribing system as a way to find that missing ingredient in your favorite build. I have another video and written guide on this system. We'll leave it below if you want that information, but you need to be aware and focus on it if you like tinkering with builds. Moving on to new homes for folks who love that. Next, you will find two new homes in Weald, Rosevine Retreat and Maryvine Estate. Found in the Tavern of Skingrave, Rosevine Retreat, very small starter home that can be earned by completing the Room to Spare quest in the Skingrave's Tavern or purchasing it outright for 3,000 gold. Maryvine's Estate is in the northern part of the map near Lucent Citadel. This can be available for purchase for 1.3 million gold upon completing the Gold Road Grand Adventure achievement. This is a pretty big area with the windmill and vineyard and is an awesome addition for ESO housing fans. Now let's move on to some gear sets. The Gold Road chapter will introduce a variety of new gear sets, and I want to give you a heads up on some of my favorites. So expect 10 new 5-piece gear sets and items, 3 in the Overland, 3 in Crafted, 4 in Trials, but wait, that's not all. 3 new mythics. So the Overland sets, if you don't know, are sourced by the content you do. So for instance, Delves drop waist and feet, while world bosses drop head, legs, and weapons, and so on. There's an Overland set, which when you kill a monster, they burst with a flood of magic, dealing 50% of their max health to enemies within a 6-meter AoE, and it's bleed damage. So this can occur every 0.5 seconds and looks like a new good set for grinding if you want massive AoE damage. Next up is crafting. There's 3 new ones, and one is designed for a parse lord. If you like to stand still and do parse dummies, this one is for you. Highland Sentinel, the 5-piece. While you stand still, every 1 second up to 10 seconds, increase your critical chance by 4, 6, 8. I imagine this will be used for high-level parsing and expect a lot of damage. Next up is mythics. We don't know all the leads yet on day 1, but we'll update the website and come out with some guides on them as we understand them. The one I'm most excited about is the Steamguard's Heavy Hand. Activating block while in combat grants Steam Guardian for 0.5 seconds, reducing the damage taken by 99%. This effect can occur every 10 seconds. Blocking attack with Steam Guardian will actively reduce its cooldown by 5 seconds. So this will be insane in PvP if you do what's called tick blocking, or these very timely blocks when a meteor is coming or you expect an incoming damage attack. A lot of skill and crazy damage reduction. Next up, we have Trials gear from Lucent Citadel, which I'll talk about a little bit later. A lot of new gear sets to collect and find. Moving on to number 4. So many of your tasks to complete that achievement will involve public dungeons, delves, and sky shards. There are newly added 6 delves, each with their own sky shard and delve boss. Moreover, 2 new public dungeons, which are larger and have more than 1 boss within them. So delve bosses are a lot faster, respawn timers, and depending on the mythic lead locations, these can be camped or hard to complete, meaning tons of players are standing around trying to spam cast damage abilities and kill the boss. So public dungeons, however, have a series of bosses with more complex timers and rotation strategies. So similar to Delve boss, once we find the leads for popular mythic items, most players will be sitting there waiting every 5 to 10 minutes on a timer to kill the boss, and only a certain amount of players who do damage are going to get a possibility of completing the achievements and or getting the mythic leads. So if it happens to you on launch, the best strategy is to use the Fighter's Guild ability Barb Trap and just lay it down on the location. It will automatically stay there for quite a while, and then it will trigger, doing damage initially as soon as the boss spawns, getting you in that precious loot pool and the achievement. Moving on to World Bosses number 3. Number 3, World Bosses, which are a bit more challenging in Weald. Most have around 4 million health with some interesting designs and one-shot mechanics. You're going to find 6 bosses throughout Weald, and these can be completed for a lot of the achievements that you're going to need. So the best tips for completing World Bosses for a solo player or someone with a very small group is 1, use a companion if you have them. 2, if you're soloing, you really need a decent health pool around 24k health, especially if you're the one taking damage. So purple tri-stat food or gold tri-stat food if you have it. You also need resource sustain. So this can come from gear sets, heavy attacking potions, food, and champion points. Don't run out of resources, you'll be dead. And then also take the preparation champion point slottable passive in Warfare Subconstellation, because it reduces damage from NPCs by 10% and doesn't require a slottable. So you can put this along with all the slottables and just get a passive PvE 10% damage reduction. You're also going to need a burst heal and or a shield heal over time. So resolving vigor is really good for every single build that uses stamina, does a bit of heal over time. And then a shield or some other type of heal is basically dependent on your class or if you're wearing light armor. And then lastly, keep your build simple. You're not parsing or having a bunch of dots and rotations. You need a spammable that you can activate that hopefully does damage and heals you, and or does damage and does a shield. Something like that will keep you alive a lot longer than doing a normal PvE parse rotation if you're doing it solo. Next up is the trial number 2, Lucent Citadel. Lucent Citadel is a new trial with perfected and non-perfected gear. You can find it in the northern edge of the map. And will this gear reshape the meta? I don't know where it stands right now, but there's some use for them in both PvE and PvP. Lucent Echoes buffs your group's crit damage and crit healing. Aura buffs your crit chance and crit damage based on buffs, which is good for a trials group running many major and minor buffs. The only issue with it is you'll likely reach crit damage cap with medium armor. Silver of the Knoll. This is a DPS proc set that actually hits pretty hard in PvP. And then we have like a healer base set here that boosts stats, increasing magic and stamina. The trial will be littered with achievements and hard challenges, one of which is a new fancy mount that I'll probably never get. Lastly, moving on to number 1, and that's the story, the focus of the chapter for most players. So number 1 is the story. I'll do my best to avoid spoilers, but Zoss has put an enormous time crafting the Gold Rose story. You're going to actually find out about a new Daedric Prince. To get started with the main quest, hit the zone guide and start zone story button. Just travel to the Skingrad Vineyard Way Shrine and talk with the NPC standing outside. She will hand you the main story quest, and there's a lot more quests in the zone, about 30 hours. So that's the best part of the new content, is unraveling a new, never-before-told Elder Scrolls story in Westfield. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the top 10 things to do in Westfield, the exciting new zone in the Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road chapter. Thank you to Bethesda for sponsoring this video, and if this video inspired you to buy the chapter, please use my bit.ly link below. We will be updating the builds on my website, so make sure to check out those guides, and thanks for watching.